Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. Not too much has changed between this episode and the last. Food Corner update though. I did get some Subway. I hit up the Nubway. I got an Italian BMT, foot long. You know how it be. Pepper jack cheese. What else did we get on the sub? I actually did a little different. I told him to just do a little bit of everything. I don't hit up Subway that often. I'm like, just give me all the fixings, please. What else did I get on there? I got some sweet onion, teriyaki sauce, some mayo, and the vinaigrette. So I was pretty stoked about it. It was a good sandwich. Got a couple of cookies, which I gotta say, there's just something about a Subway cookie that hits. Like, you could make that exact cookie at home and it would be so shitty. But if you got that from Subway, it was fire. I don't know why that is, but it is. I also got some chips and a drink. So that's the food corner. I got a lot of news today, but we'll see how this goes. I mean, I might shoot through some of it faster than others, but try to jam pack for y'all here. So for starters, sports news, USA Today. Tom Brady changes mind on retirement. Will return to Buccaneers to play 23rd NFL season. So I remember when I first covered this, the Monday after, I thought that he was going to make a comeback because one of my coworkers told me, like, oh, no, he's not retiring. And I was like, oh, shit, oh, no. But it turned out he stuck to the script and he was going to be retired. So I was like, all right, cool, no worries. But then it turns out now that there was some truth to that. Like, he really wasn't necessarily feeling it. He did some more thinking about it and was like, hey, I'm going to come back. Let's see. I think he has a quote here. These past 2 months, I've realized my place is still on the field and not in the stands. That time will come, but it is not now. I love my teammates and I love my supportive family. They make it all possible. I'm coming back for my 23rd season in Tampa. Unfinished business. LFG. LFG means let's fucking go. I guess that's Tom Brady energy as well. So yeah, good luck, man. Hopefully it is everything you want it to be. I always worry about these kind of things, like kind of like when Jordan came back and was at the Wizards, like that shit didn't hit the same. We all kind of knew. But I mean, granted, when he was last at the Buccaneers, they did well. You know, the year before that, I believe they even got the Super Bowl, right? So I mean, they're cranking. I'm sure they're gonna be fine. Let's see, get that notification out of there. In other news, I got this from ABC7. This is an update on the Jussie Smollett situation. Double jeopardy? Question mark. Jussie Smollett's attorneys appeal Empire actor sentencing. Jussie Smollett refused to eat, only drank water while in protective custody, attorney says. So essentially, long story short, Jussie's free. He flipped the script. Some things happened, like he said, while he was in his custody. He said he had already received threats that he was going to be like beat up, assaulted in prison. He was refusing to eat. It was like really becoming like a mental health issue. So essentially there was like an immediate appeal, which usually takes like weeks or months. But they immediately saw it and they ruled 2-1 in favor of an appeal for him to be released. So he was, and so it is. In my mind, I kind of feel like, I mean, hey, and I'm just being straight up here. This is just me being as honest and candid as possible with you. This is a black man being freed from a situation that really, like, it's one of those things where I was fine with the sentencing in terms of, like, you completely lied. You were lying. By law, this makes sense that you're going to go to jail for that. Like, that's just the breaks. But in the situation is, we all know how privilege works when you're a famous person. We all know that status can kind of get you up and out. And I mean, throughout this case, it was kind of very apparent anyway. Like, initially it was supposed to be like, hey, you're going to do community service and you're going to pay this expensive bond or whatever, and it's going to be a done deal. Problem solved. And he did those things. So, to see him get the 5 months or the 150 days, pretty much 75 days probably with good behavior, I think people were kind of surprised and shocked. and they voiced their concerns. So I mean, it all kind of culminated. Also, too, it's not probably over. There's going to be maybe even more appeals to the appeals. But I think from here, it's probably safe to say that he's probably not going to do any jail time. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. I do think it's definitely fucked up to make a fake hate crime. I actually recently did a Patreon subscription to TrueAnon, so I got more episodes, and they actually did a deep dive on Jesse Smollett's case situation, the whole thing, and just hearing this even more details is wow, it was just crazy, just how he got his two, not security, his two entourage friends from Empire, they were extras on the show. And essentially he's hey, you guys just beat me up and pour bleach on me. Yeah, this will totally work. And it didn't work. Also, something I learned from the episode, he too was also on a subway run that night when he was accosted on this quote unquote hate crime. So it is something, though, I do feel the fallout, though, that really sucks is that this potentially waters down hate crime things. Like I said earlier in another episode, it's been 200 years, or it's been over 100 years since we were able to get a actual lynching law put into place. And then you have this juxtaposed in the same year where there's someone lying about a hate crime, where someone was putting a noose around his neck. So it's just one of those things where it's I'm very certain that people on the right side of things or what have you go, oh, this is just another example of people doing misinformation or whatever, fake news, and this isn't actually a thing. Racism is totally fake. I don't know, they be stretching. This shit's wild. But, hey, like I said before in the middle of this, at the end of the day, a black man using his, social privilege to get out of a situation, I get it. No one wants to do jail time. That's just a period, point blank thing, whether you're good, bad, evil, otherwise. So yeah, that is what that is, right? In other news, this is local Ohio Tings. Got this from 10 WBNS. DeWine signs bill removing concealed gun training permits. The measure, dubbed constitutional carry by its backers, is one of several GOP-backed proposals in recent years seeking to expand gun rights in Ohio. So essentially, DeWine is set to sign a bill, or he already did. This came out the 14th of March, but essentially it is making it so you don't have to have a concealed carry permit. And that also, you don't have to promptly notify police officers that you are carrying a concealed weapon. That last part is really eerie to me, just because as a black man, I always fear and worry. One, it's already scary to potentially drive around carrying a gun, whether you have that permit or you're doing it illegally. But then you get into a situation where you're pulled over, and the next thing you know, because you have a gun, a cop is instantly on more alert and does something wild. You never know. These are things I fucking think about and I worry about. And so I also worry about it for just the state, the country, what have you. I did take the time to kind of ask a couple of my friends who are, gun guys, gun aficionados, if you will, what their take was on it. They more or less said that they were cool with it. They thought it was a good thing, but they did kind of have the same kind of worries, apprehensions that hey, there are, less affluent people who are going to be potentially railroaded by this kind of situation. And also there's people who have no training, no idea how to handle a gun, and they're not going to get the necessary training that you would get in the process of getting a permit, So there's a little bit of a question mark worry there. But I think everyone, especially in this state, has the idea just hey, we don't want our rights infringed upon here. This is our Second Amendment. We want to be able to carry arms, bear arms. So I do get it. I do understand. Also, it's noted in this article, I think, what is it? The Buckeye Firearms Association said 21 other states allow people to carry a concealed firearm. There are also other groups, kind of like I had said, the moms demand action for gun sense, as well as law enforcement. That lack of training is it's spooky. That's a weird, bad part potentially in this. So time will definitely tell whether or not this is going to be a good or bad thing. So, we'll see. We'll keep you posted. Speaking of shootings, though, I shouldn't laugh. That's bad. But there was a shooting at South by Southwest that injured 4. Let's see here. Now, South by Southwest takes place in Austin, Texas. Big event, big music kind of festival. Actually, a podcast I listened to, Chapo Trap House, they actually did a live performance there, which is pretty cool. But there was a shooting early Sunday morning. 4 people were shot. I believe, though, no one was killed. So that's a good thing. Also, there is an article I'm missing here. I just realized, technical difficulties, they happen. But let's see here. There was a shooting, several shootings that took place. Hold on, give me a second here. Sorry.